This is a very generous sized Georgian armchair. As you can see, it's quite square in look. There's a reason for that, and we'll show you later in the video. It was made by Morgan & Sanders, a good Georgian company who made metamorphic and campaign furniture. They included Horatio Nelson amongst their customers as well as others, and they were located in Catherine Street off the Strand. They used to work for Thomas Butler, who we've spoken about before in these videos. You can read a lot about him on the Makers file on our website. Fell out with Butler when he promised to sell them a company and then went and sold it to Thomas Oxenham instead. So they left him in 1801 and formed their own company, Morgan & Sanders. We'll show you the label for that later. But let's get into what this chair is all about, first of all. Well, it's a little bit unusual to one of these chair beds that we've had before. So there you go, I've told you, it forms a bed, a spare bed. And the reason that it's unusual is that all of the ones we've had before from the Catherine Street makers were made of mahogany. This one is made of mahogany for the show wood, but the side and back panels are oak, indicating that it was always made to be covered. And if you look at this flyer of Morgan & Sanders that we've had, you'll see some illustrations of similar chair beds, all dressed up in their finery, showing that the material would have covered the oak, which is used as a secondary wood. So here's Morgan & Sanders brass label, inset to the front rail of the bed, and of course this all folds out to become the bed frame. And you can see that it says Morgan & Sanders, manufacturers, 16 and 17 Catherine Street, Strand, London. And at the top it also says patent. Well, in truth, all of the Catherine Street makers made very similar chair beds. Thomas Butler, Argyle's, Durham, who took over business from Morgan & Sanders in 1820 after Sanders died in 1818. They all made very, very similar chair beds. So it's a little bit cheeky putting patent on it. We don't know who exactly formed or owned the patent, or indeed if the chair bed was actually patented. It was not uncommon to put patent on items that were not patented. So let's show you how this folds into a bed. First of all, we can see that the back has got two bolts which fit into the sides to release them. So we're going to do that. I'm going to speed up the film a little bit so we can see it all a little bit quicker, and then we'll show you how all of that works. So as you can see, I've removed one of the sides, and this chair bed can be used either with the sides on, if you want a little bit of protection from the draft, or both sides can be removed. They have got steel slots just on the inside of this rail here, and you can see that you've got these steel hinges here with these long sections which will then drop into those slots and still allow you to fold the chair. So when it all packs down, this effectively will fold down like that, the other side will fold down, and the top will fold down. So you'll end up with a piece of furniture which is only about that high, with these standard dimensions, with of course the frame folded in. So it really becomes quite compact and so very practical for travel or storage. Now, we mentioned at the beginning that this version is unusual because the secondary wood is oak. So we've made these covers, or rather Sally, our wonderful cushion lady, has made them. They're padded on the inside just to give extra comfort as a chair, and as you can see, they slip off nice and easily. So there's your secondary wood, there's your oak. And while we've got it off, you can see that we've also got brass fittings here with holes and at the front, and that would have been to take posts to form a canopy. So if you remember back in the flyer that we showed earlier, they showed it as a four-poster, or what they described as a tent bed. Tent didn't necessarily refer to it being made for use in a tent, but the fact that the canopy made it look like a tent. So with that off, and to use it as a bed, of course, we put the cushions back on, and as a chair we have two cushions for it, but there is a spare for use as a bed. And these button together to fix. I'm not going to do it now, so that in the middle of the night when you're sleeping and you're moving around, you don't lose a middle or end cushion and become uncomfortable. So there you go, you end up with what is quite a comfortable second bed or spare bed. You can have it with the sides and the back up or down. You can have it with the sides off and just the back up. Got two wooden bars under here which are hinged to support the back when it doesn't have the sides. So all in all, it's a very, very practical piece of furniture. The original spare folding bed, made by Morgan & Sanders. It's unusual for being mahogany with oak secondary wood, which, as I said at the beginning, would have been originally covered so you wouldn't see it, as we've done with these covers here, which are all removable. So if you wanted to see the oak, you could do. The posts and the canopy are missing. I'm afraid we've only ever had one example which had its original posts and canopies, and that was a Durham chair bed. They're nearly always missing. We've had maybe 5 or 6 of this type of chair bed in 20 years. Only one had the canopy posts to take it into a tent bed. So that's not unusual for them to be missing. But a very practical bit of furniture made by Morgan & Sanders. It's going to be around about 1810 in date. They're in existence from 1801 to 1820 until John Durham bought the company. He was one of their foremen. You can see it on our website along with other examples of items by Morgan & Sanders and the other Catherine Street makers. And if you go to the maker section of our website, you can read up all about them.